Welcome to Talk About Coaching with us, Jamie Tenzer and Sheri Boone. We spend our days talking about coaching as we train and mentor coaches, and we've been doing this for about 20 years. We even talk about coaching when we're just chatting with each other. So we thought, why not record our chats and share them with you? Our goal is to share our expertise to help you on your journey to become a better coach. And we'll share ideas that you can take and try on to see if they work for you. We hope you'll find value, and if there's a topic you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. We can be reached at coachcachet.com. That is CoachCachet.com. We hope you'll enjoy today's talk about coaching. Well, hello, Sheri. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing really well today. I'm looking forward to this conversation about a sub-competency, one of the ICF Core Competencies.
Okay, good. What are we going to talk about?
Well, I thought we would talk about Competency 6.3, which is under Listens Actively. And that is recognizes and inquires when there is more to what the client is communicating. So when I read that out to you, what comes to mind?
I guess what first comes to mind with this one is, this ability of the coach to, listen deeply, listen beyond the words, but the first thing I guess that's coming up is when it says to recognize, what are some of the things we might recognize, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one example is if you notice your client using a particular word repeatedly, that's something you might notice. So that's one example. And then in terms of inquiring about it, you might just reflect that. I noticed that you used that word overwhelm several times here in the last few minutes. So I'm wondering what that's about. Or do you want to say more about that? Or what's underneath that for you? Some kind of an inquiry that invites them to take a look there. And then, there are other ways that we recognize also. What are some other ways that we recognize what's underneath for you? What do you think?
Well, as I was talking, I was thinking about, sometimes I recognize a shift in energy in my client. They might come in with kind of a low energy, and then once they get talking about something, oh, wow, it really changes. It sort of, they get lit up in a way. And I think it's really important to just, like you said, reflect that. I'm noticing that when you started talking about, this new project or idea, that it really changed in terms of your energy. Also maybe tone of voice.
Right.
Sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you say that, I'm thinking of, again, this idea that we reflect this back, but we don't want to draw a conclusion either about it, right? So we want to notice it and then maybe make an inquiry, ask a question, but also check in with the client. What is this for them, or what are they noticing? So we're not assuming something, right?
Right. Like maybe especially, well, in any case, but especially if it's, if you notice, my example was energy going up, but if energy going down, I noticed that when you were talking about this, your energy shifted to a little bit of a lower place, am I on track there? Did I know? Is that right? Yep. Is that resonating with you, right? Because we definitely don't want to be imposing our ideas on our clients.
No.
Yeah.
But it is part of our job, really, right, as a good coach, to notice these things and to offer them back to the client. Is there, just with that invitation, do they want to explore this, or what do they notice, or what might be important here, right?
So much has to do, yes, absolutely. And as you're talking, I'm just thinking how important it is that we talk about things in a particular way. If you start a question, I'm noticing like you did, or I'm wondering, or I'm curious about, so much of I always say you can get away with some really direct questions if your tone of voice is neutral and
Yeah.
your language is neutral. So
Mhm.
your client really gets the message, they're in charge, even though they're having maybe new information is being provided to them, they can take it or leave it ultimately and
Yeah,
do what they want with it.
exactly. As you were talking, I was remembering from years and years ago, um, I had a coach, and this was long, long ago, and I remember him saying to me at one point, "So I'm just going to stop you for a minute. I'm noticing that you keep circling around. You just keep circling around back to the same thing. What do you think?" And I and I went, "Oh, yes, yes, I am." And it was a really great moment. He was not, he just offered it back to me in a very
Mm,
neutral way, but it was really important. It was important
mm,
information as I then went forward in the coaching session. So, yeah, for
mhm.
me as the client. Yeah. And another thing, I think another way we can notice, or yeah, for what's underneath, to really notice what's underneath, is to, when the client is sort of like my example in my situation, but when the client is saying one thing, that they want to do one thing, or they want one thing, or they really want to focus here, but they keep talking about something else. They keep
Mm.
getting distracted from that main point. So what do you do in that situation, Jamie?
Well, and it does happen. Um, I think what I do is I just point it out. I'll just say, it's interesting. You said that you wanted to talk about, XYZ, but we're really spending a lot of time on ABC. And I'm just curious, what is most important for you to be
Yeah.
talking about in the session? Sometimes, the client is distracted from what they really want, but sometimes what they're talking about is actually what they want to be talking about, but they just
Yes.
haven't identified that, right?
Ex-
Until you sort of hold that mirror up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Great. Great talk. Thank you.
Talk to you again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We hope you're walking away with something of value. As always, we invite your comments at coachcachet.com. That's COACHCACHET.com.